15 of the 25 countries with the world's highest rates of femicide. Give us some examples, if you can, of your everyday work to eliminate violence against women and girls in your country, and what role do you think civil society can play in the fight against femicide in Argentina?
Sí, muy buenas tardes.
Yes, very good afternoon to everybody. I'd like to acknowledge the role of those who made it possible for me to come here today to represent civil society, UN Argentina, and the civil society leaders who work in this space, who are working in a network, and who are playing a major role in Argentina in influencing decision-making. And I'd also like to thank each one of you for being here today and for making it possible for me to be here. It's really a source of pride for civil society, which is working at the grassroots. My name is Gladis Villalba, as I have already been introduced. For over 30 years, I've been working as a feminist and as an abolitionist. I've been working in many organizations for many years, and 20 years ago we created a human rights organization called Razonar. We use this to deal with separate sets of problems together with organizations which create networks to resolve problems and support women and girls who are victims of violence. Since this is a very difficult pathway for each one of these women, we in civil society have come together to support them. When I'm talking about a critical path, it's when that woman or girl who is a victim of any kind of gender-based violence has to report this to a police station or to a prosecutor. She doesn't have the tools to do this because this critical pathway is very difficult, and women are too weak to go and report this violence and break the cycle. That's why we are there supporting them.
What sort of challenges does a civil society organization face in dealing with this issue on the ground?
Y los desafíos.
The challenges that we face are numerous, beginning with eradicating violence, not just gender-based violence, but also femicide. Every day a woman dies at the hands of a man in Argentina. She's killed by the machista culture that we have to deconstruct. I've come to tell you today that femicides have a face, they have a body. These women had dreams. These are 4 different women with 4 different stories. They all fell victim to femicide. These women and girls, because one of them is a girl, Serena, 15 years old, who was killed with 49 stab wounds by her boyfriend. We have Natalia too, Natalia Rocha, a young woman who was kidnapped. She was abducted, she was drugged, she was raped, and killed with blunt blows by 4 criminals. We have another young girl, Belen. She was killed by a hired killer who was sent by a criminal who is in prison. Even though he is in prison, he can issue orders to have a woman killed. And lastly, we have Diana Barrio Nuevo, a young mother with 3 children. The youngest one is named Brisa. Because of Brisa, we have a law today in Argentina, and here we can show how civil society affects public policy. This was a civil society initiative to provide economic reparations to the victims of collateral damage. This is the case of boys and girls who are orphans because their mother was killed by their father, who is detained. So this is a law which produces economic assistance to children until they reach 21 years of age. As I was saying, the victims of femicide have faces. Let's not forget them. Because of Spotlight and this alliance that we've forged in civil society, we see how light is being shed on all this. We start having hope, because civil society organizations, both in Argentina and all of Latin America, we agree on that. We are working from the grassroots with nothing, with a sense of sisterhood, with a sense of creativity, because if we civil society organizations were not creative, we wouldn't even be here today. We work with no resources. We do whatever we can to help the victims of violence and their families. In many cases, such as the cases of these victims, the lawyers working in social organizations like our lawyers, Kania Corral, Maria Rosa Avila, are working for free, sponsoring families. This is the only way of getting justice to be done. It's a lot of work and effort, and that's why I would like to tell those who are leading Spotlight, the European Union and the UN. I'm grateful that we are here, but let's not forget this. It has to be systematic. It has to be responsible of every one of you, and also ours, to eradicate gender violence, especially femicides.
Has a role to play. Gracias. Thank you so much for telling us about these women, and indeed for the hard work that you do on the ground. And as you say, each one of us has a role to play. Let me now bring in Anne-Birgit Albrechtsson, CEO of Plan International. Please tell us